All right, Ebusa for Mamuna Makwaba, Eba Ghana Politics Avenue. Hana open all the trending political stories in Ghana. Unsabi to me, Akano. Then Ebusa story di Bremui Edamusunko, Eye Enche Biana NPP for Kotu. Oma battle Eyo Mufranka Tunyo Bidu Menim Award 2028 general elections presidential. Na ye no mukotu ye Dr. Haj Mahmoud Bawumia, former vice president, any dim kunim out of Nipa 5 nom kunyam. Na ye na Dr. Bawumia ho aba asem asembe na Dr. Bawumia ba. Unze enche bia ana Reverend Dr. Owusu Bempa. Owusu Bempa edibetu da say candidate ni bi mo no mo abem no awie sika. Sika ye omu wie yi. Omo de ba beto aba na omu din kunim a sika na ebehye agu. Na enche bia na amanfo ebusebusa say Bawumia na oka na asem na because na edika ka say obeche Bawumia bibi na Bawumia ma ne nkrofo bi say efiaso nega attack ni enti obeche Bawumia bibi na we no de betu dwan ebum say ka say enie ebe Bawumia na oka na asem na enche bia omoto obayiwe ya Bawumia di nkunim na enche bia na former member of the New Patriotic Party is on e kasamafo de ma United Party Solomon Owusu si da betu ja say Bawumia ewies ka mo abem Bawumia wies ka bi kogu baabi a olutu sika bi kogu baabi for dachi abato na says cannot go on the coverture a petition OSP obetra petition attorney general obetra petition penifo mo krom na asraj CID so omo investigate Bawumia abato am go to yesika sem sika tuatua ne nyoma e course no omo investigate Bawumia kwan of aso nya sika etimi tuatua delegates ka emo mo to abanman to nde be ya obetwelete obetwekata da koma OSP osa betwekata da koma attorney general no atwekata da koma strike boss no atwekata da koma CID so investigate Bawumia no akwa ska gu ba bia omde elections ewo NPP na ono de waka ne de obeye mumunye nkotie Solomon Owusu obra odi saasem we tu da ewo TV3 news day so munye Solomon Owusu mra sese dem diga kan I Ghana Politics Avenue open all the trend political stories Ghana I na usabeda.
On time I made that declaration that he was going to win because he didn't need anybody to tell you that doing the top-down approach had been rigged. It was a way of rigging the elections for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So it was obvious, and I was wondering why people were wrapping their heads with polls here and there. It's garbage in, garbage out. What is in the album that will give you the outcome. But what this time around makes it very scary for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is even with the same album, the old album that has his people, about 4% from the last election, what he got in the previous election, felt he was not competent enough to...
But they said they will rally behind him.
Who is going to rally?
You didn't see Apenyo Maki and the rest.
Apenyo's statement was even dangerous.
It's not statement. He even rushed to the house, go and greet him.
Did you listen to what he said?
I don't understand.
Jesus Christ. Apenyo has finished the whole show. First of all, I respected Apenyo for what he said yesterday. He says the opposition NPP in parliament didn't have any strategy the whole of 2025 and that they were just doing anything anyhow. Secondly, he says that now they are going to hand over the party, the parliamentarians the NPP parliamentarians in parliament will only be doing what we call the bidding of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, his vision. Tell you the cracks.
But they've elected him as candidate.
No, they say the cracks. Because of this campaign, you know how Fenyo's place a futu. They gave Kennedy Japan 644 votes.
But that one does delicate.
Against 79.
They made the decision.
So Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and his team are not so happy with Afenyo. And in the coming days, definitely they will get him out. But what I want to admonish Afenyo is that when he's removed as the minority leader, he must not worry. Oh, it will happen. Don't worry, it will happen.
Are you sure?
No, it's going to happen.
So do you want us to bet?
No, it's going to happen. Let me tell you. It's a matter of time. Afenyo will be removed. But the most important thing or the takeaway from this whole NPP primaries is how they have been able to monetize our politics.
Monetize?
I couldn't believe it. That the only consideration for delegates to vote for a particular candidate was more issue of money. Delegates
Are you making claims that the winner is the one who paid more?
Oh, yes. But the delegates themselves were telling us that, look, we are waiting for the money. They say, oh, we are not voting for Educhuma and Kwabena Japan because their money hasn't come. And I felt that the GRA by now must be going after all the five candidates. Look, we are not in a serious country. That people are showing opulence. And you, the youth of this country, remember, listen to me well. The reason why you are poor, you are not getting jobs to do is that when these politicians get the opportunity of leading you, they loot and they only use it to come and buy your conscience. That on election day, They were only distributing money. Remember, on the 15th of September 2025, I, together with the Bokman and Apia Dankwa, petitioned the OSP to investigate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on his claim that he single-handedly donated more than 300 brand new pickups for the campaign. I knew what I was doing because I know the monies are with them. The monies are with the NPP candidates.
Solomon.
But I don't know what this administration is doing. Is it the case that they also want to loot?
Solo is okay. Solo is okay.
Can you imagine?
So they should go after people?
They should go and take our money. I'm not interested in you go and take our money and give it to them. If you don't want to do anything else with them, you just go and take the money. They showed opulence.
Remember your candidate, Alan Cash.
But
I've just been given a picture. Apparently, you were a delegate. You were in your.
No, he has always been. Not today, but this morning. You see how the word works. This morning, he has openly admitted that he's an NPP member.
I don't understand.
I was not, and I am not a delegate. Yes.
So what did you do?
So the picture that was sent to me.
Let's not do this. I'm telling you that the delegate album for Salah is available online. My name is.
You're celebrating.
Don't do this, Roland, please.
No, he has a tag.
I was
special guest. Okay, special guest.
So that you know, one more thing.
Let's do some cocoa news.
The creme de la creme of the party. You know, they had a police station at the headquarters. NPP headquarters had a police station. Those that were supposed to vote them are the National Council members, the former appointees as ministers and CEOs, and so on and so forth. Do you know of the 987 voters that were supposed to vote there, only 481 people turned out to vote? They realized that this was a flawed process.
Oh, but how do you come by those? Some of them were those who live outside.
No, they were only. This was the most important activity of the party. Less than 50% of those, the creme de la creme, saw the need to go and vote. But they are giving up on this party.
No,
so if the elders, if the creme de la creme are running away from the party, how much more you, the trigger little stars, who are now looking for something to do for your life? So it's Agbena. We are very much happy. And in the same way, the United Party so happy. The very day they voted, the number of people who are registering with us is amazing. And that we are looking forward to a very competitive election come 2028. But I can assure you that in the same way Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia went to the Ashanti region and said, we are sorry, we have wronged you. When you go to court and say that, my Lord, I am guilty, it does not mean you have been forgiven. What it means is that the judge will look at the levels of punishment to give to the mistake that you have committed. That is where we are now.
All right, there's a substantive issue that
chiefs and people of Ketu North. Well, and indeed, as an interested party, I monitored keenly the NPP primaries. And let me first congratulate them for the successful elections and also to congratulate Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia for emerging victorious in the primaries. Roland, for us in the NDC, the election of Dr. Bawumia with 56.4% in his own party signals that 2028 we are still on course to securing another victory. Dr. Bawumia is a candidate we know and we have known all this while. There is nothing new. There is nothing that the NPP can do to whitewash Dr. Bawumia of the incompetence and the failure that we saw under his administration. It was under his watch as head of economic management team that this country's economy was run into crisis to the extent that citizens were given wicked haircuts. Even retirees, pensioners were not spared because of Bawumia's incompetence. So there is nothing the NPP can tell us today that to whitewash Bawumia and make him look as though he is a candidate we haven't seen before. Dr. Bawumia was largely known as a candidate who was not credible, who was not honest. In fact, they in the NPP themselves placed the tag of a liar on him, which confirms all the things that we have said.
Liar.
No, but yes, he was known as a chronic liar. Even in their campaign, they referred to him as a chronic liar. Now, what is it that they will tell us now that will change what they said about Dr. Bawumia being a chronic liar? So for us in the NDC, yes, we are not complacent. We will always continue to work hard to increase our margins. But if there is any candidate on the ticket of the NPP that will scare the NDC, it is certainly not Dr. Bawumia.
But you haven't even elected your candidate.
And I'm telling you that, Roland, I'm telling you that regardless of whoever the NDC will present, Dr. Bawumia's candidature cannot be one that will scare the NDC away in anything. Why? What news is he bringing? What news is Dr. Bawumia bringing? Why? Is it not the same Dr. Bawumia who told us that he had arrested the dollar and given the key to the IGP? The same Dr. Bawumia who arrested the dollar, gave the key to the IGP, but the exchange rate was 1 CD to 17 CDs to $1.
Don't mind.
What is new about Dr. Bawumia?
But he paid cocoa farmers.
What is new about Dr. Bawumia?
Just in a minute.
You can't pay them.
It's very important that let me congratulate him. I mean, it was obvious for
also become very topical, and it's about Ghana's cocoa financing. Why have farmers' arrears been delayed and not paid? Edem Agbana, you might have heard something from Randy Abbey, the cocoa board, etc. And cocoa farmers are very already. You know that prices on the world market have been tumbling. Côte d'Ivoire hasn't been able to get their own produce to their commodity suppliers or those who want to offtake them in the first place. And so that's made the prices a bit unwavering.
Well, Roland, I very much sympathize with cocoa farmers who are facing difficulties, cocoa farmers whose payments have delayed. And I can assure you on authority that as I speak, government has started addressing the issues, and before long, all those whose payments are in arrears will receive their cash. There is a certain history to the challenge that we face today. I am not one of those who likes to play politics with issues of this nature. But having followed the kind of arguments that our friends in the NPP are making on this case, it is important to use your platform to set the record straight.
What's the record?
The record is that for close to 3 decades, Cocoa Board engages in the purchase of cocoa using syndicated loans from international banks. And so, before the start of the season, Cocoa Board takes the loan from the international banks and use that money to pay or to buy the beans directly through the licensed buying companies. But for 3 years now, because of the mismanagement of Cocoa Board under the NPP government, the international banks have denied us that facility, because in the 2023-2024 season, under the NPP government, they took syndicated loans against the purchase of 800,000 metric tons of cocoa. But they failed to supply the 800,000 tons. And so supply fell short of over 333,000 metric tons. And so for the next season, there needed to be a rollover. Now, when the rollover happened, these international banks, those who used to give us this syndicated loan, denied us the opportunity to get it. So now there is no cash immediately available as it used to be. So what happened is that you now have a situation where Cocoa Board entered into agreement with the international buyers, and they called it the 60-40, where they will pre-finance by giving an upfront payment of 60%, and the 40% is what Cocoa Board will be entitled to, and the user. So the farmers will bring their cocoa beans, and there's an upfront payment of 60% instead of what used to be the case of entire payment before. But because of that challenge that the NPP government left. And Cocoa Board's financial position as of December 2024, before the NPP exited office, was so terrible that the institution was no more financially viable, financially strong or stable enough to enter into an agreement where they could access loans for them to. And I say this on authority that, look, Randy Abe's assumption of office as Chief Executive Officer of Cocoa Board and the kind of leadership he has provided since 2025 is the reason why there is even some stability in the sector. Because this is a gentleman that came to inherit debt of 32.9 billion. That's what they left for Cocoa Board. 32.9 billion. And of that 32.9 billion, much of it were even debts accumulated from non-cocoa related activities. For example, the Cocoa Rose project. And this, out of that 32.9 billion, about 21 billion of it came from the 2017, 2018, 2019 season. And this was the same season where, under the NPP, there was no budgetary allocation for Cocoa Rose. But behind the scenes, contracts were awarded, including the one that Wontumi got for that somewhere in the Western North. All these are under investigation.
At the end of the cocoa farmers haven't been paid.
I'm making a point. So I'm telling you that
it's been well over a year.
No, cocoa farmers were paid for the 2024-2025. Last year, cocoa farmers were paid. But I am telling you that there is a little delay now for some. And it's not all cocoa farmers. Because what is happening is that for government's projection, like I said, because we are no more we no more have access to the syndicated loan, there is a 60-40 arrangement where some monies are paid upfront. But the challenge we have today is that those who are buying the cocoa beans are faced with the difficulty of a reduction in the prices of cocoa. Because government's FOB price, the farm gate price that government set of 58,000 Ghana cedis per ton of per metric ton of cocoa, per ton of cocoa. That 58,000 today, when you buy cocoa at 58,000 and you are selling in the international market, you will not be able to make any profit. Number two, because our prices, as compared to our neighbors, is now higher. Ghana's cocoa price is now the highest. So you realize that there's even a reduction in smuggling out of the country. So rather, what is happening is that people from neighboring countries, Côte d'Ivoire and others, are rather trying to bring their cocoa in. And so those who are buying upfront on this 60-40 arrangement,
they haven't been paid.
Roland, and I'm telling you that it's just a few cocoa farmers whose delay, and the delay is because of this challenge.
If you say a few,
and I have assured you that government has worked on it, and as we speak, some monies have been released to some of the banks and disbursements are ongoing.
Okay.
My only point is that, yes, we sympathize with the cocoa farmers. We understand the challenge. But NPP has no moral authority to even speak on this matter because we are where we are today on this challenge because they created the problem.
The moral authority?
Because they created the problem. They let a debt of 32.9 billion for Cocoa Board. Again, it is because of their incompetence and their failure. Yes, it is because of their incompetence. That is why the syndicated loans are no more coming.
Well over a year.
So government, yes, you see, in the international arrangement, it does not take just a year. We are dealing with seasons. And so until all of these debts are cleared, Ghana will not be able to access that syndicated, which, like I said, Dr. Randy Abe and his team are working on. And so we are where we are today because of the challenges that they left behind. As we speak today, government is working very hard to get the cocoa farmers, to get the monies paid to those who have not been able to receive the rest of their monies. And again, we have been able to fulfill our promise of ensuring that farmers are getting much higher value for their cocoa than they used to get under the previous administration. Roland, it is not a desirable place to be. But where we are today, it is because of the challenges that they have left. But I can assure you that we as a government are committed to cocoa farmers. We as a government are doing everything possible to ensure that Cocoa Board really serves the interests of farmers. And that is all we have been doing over the past 1 year. Before long, I'm sure even by the end of this week or latest by next week, most or all the farmers would have received their payments.
Dr. Zato, what do you think? Should we have gotten here? Perhaps the word could have been coming out earlier so that well, the concerns of the farmers would have been known and some engagement would have been done on the public arena, even though, of course, I'm sure that in the closets, Cocoa Board would have been doing that. Because now they are public.
Thank you very much. I like, you kept asking one simple question, which is reverberating throughout. It has been over a year. It has been over a year. And that question is important because it puts this discussion within the context. If at this time, any organization...
You said my question was good.
Yeah, that's good. Oh. I'm saying you kept bringing up. It was good. It's good because it situates it contextualizes the discussion. But what you're saying is that if now you are still blaming the former manager of Cocoa for the woes and pathologies you are dealing with, then it shows the level of incompetence that you are dealing with. Look, the decisions, the problem happening in Cocoa Board is a result of what? Policy reversals, internal conflict, and poor, weak decision making.
What do you mean by that?
It seems almost all the policies of this government have one objective when it comes to agriculture sector: to make farmers poor and poorer. I started by talking about how maize and beans farmers in the northern part of this country are poorer and poorer. I talked about how rice farmers are poorer and poorer. I talked about how farmers down have the egg glut. They are getting poorer and poorer. Now we are going to how cocoa farmers are getting poorer and poorer. What wrong have farmers done this government? That any policy. If you talk to any member of the NDC about the economy, the dollar is down, fuel prices are down, inflation is down. Inflation is down, farmers cannot be paid. What kind of economic management is that? Inflation is down, cocoa farmers cannot be paid. What kind of economic management is that? Inflation is down, the wars and pathology, farmers are crying, and you say the economy is better. Which economy are you talking about? Why is it that the economy is doing well? Meanwhile, the economy of farmers is getting weak, poor, and bad. The farmers are wallowing. Why? I want to let you understand
what do you mean by the farmers are...
They are not being paid. You just made that point. It doesn't matter even if it's just some of them. Do you know that farmers are threatening to turn their farms into galamsey sites? Do you know that farmers are threatening that they will turn their farms into rubber plantations? Do you know cocoa farmers are threatening that they will illegally send their cocoa out? Why is it that you said the previous economy was criminally managed, but that economy paid cocoa farmers? Say whatever you want. Can syndicated loans, no syndicated loans, no whatever. We never sat down here in 2024 to say that cocoa farmers have not been paid. They were paid. So if the criminally managed economy in 2024 paid cocoa farmers, and now I thought it's forcing. Now dollar is coming down. Now inflation is coming down. Now everything you paint the picture, see the whole economy is kumbaya.
But
why is it that the kumbaya economy cannot pay cocoa farmers?
He's just outlining the reason, the bottleneck.
Those are excuses. Those are just big
excuses. And then the refinancing that has always been a burden for us, because we go out there, go and take the loan, the syndicated loans, and even when it comes into the economy, it shows up the city.
Yes.
And so you'll find that historically, each time it's the last quarter of the year, then the government in power and the finance minister and the head of Cocoa Board will always come and say, oh, a syndicated loan is coming. But this time, you know that when we went to the IMF, is it not true? We've been blacked out, generally, out of the market. So it makes us go into the market and go take facilities at high percentage values. Is that not true?
A good manager gets the job done.
I don't understand.
You are Cocoa Board.
So I mean previously we had...
All right, Ghana Politics Avenue. Open all the trending political stories in Ghana. Heya na onsa ebekan. Na story edi bre munse Solomon Owusu asem na oda tujan. Owo adwenche ye osei. No kure nyanya no kure. Ma ye hu adwenche e wo comment section wo. Ma usu wo adwan hu fa hu. Ye nyina ye ni anoba ye. Na ye hu de bitima ya aboa ama Ghana. De manu sem no etumpo. So dem diga Ghana Politics Avenue. Open all the trending political stories in Ghana. Heya na onsa ebetumi akan. The best was any dedicated or video at our channel. So best was subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe we are having notification bell na or na domanda or na on sabos. Say be ya video afufu bi nya video afufu bi anya de brema onzo sabetimi akabi. Na afi so uwia video awu when you want obe like it na wa share na ma afufu so ensa etumi aka ebi na omoso ahwe. Nye nya yehu de ekoso e wo Ghana amanyo se mu ne our own small we. Yeso hu de bitima ye aboa ama Ghana amanyo sem no etumpo. Same gaga Ghana Politics Avenue. Open all the trending political stories in Ghana. Nowhere but here and onsa between account. Now when you the course of Ghana, Yamanyo sem in our political space. The Damuna Masi, some other bread, number 38. Yakramuna, Yamamuna, Baba, Yadamasi. Hi Ghana Police Avenue. Yakra Munya, Mumba.